I'm joined now by former Australian cricket captain Michael Clarke. Clarke, good morning to you. When you see those scenes at the airport, how does it make you feel?
Oh, Carl, I've got goosebumps. It's devastating. Look, I think, and I've been very open about this, there's been a huge mistake made, and these three players are going to suffer the consequences. We know what the sanctions are, and I believe they will suffer those. Whatever they were going to be, some people would say too hard, some people would say too soft. Personally, I thought they were going to lose, Smith and Water were going to lose the leadership. I didn't expect them to get a 12-month ban. But again, like I say, Cricket Australia have made a stand. I think the players have got to cop that on the chin and deal with it. But I'm so worried about these three players. I'm so worried about the mental side of the game. I'm so worried about how they come back. You know, the one thing that stands out for me was Trevor Chappell's article the other day. In 1981, he got done for the underarm ball. 37 years on, he's still dealing with it now. You know, whatever punishment these players cop or whatever the sanctions are, that's going to be nothing compared to what they've got to deal with for the rest of their lives. They're going to be called cheats for the rest of their lives. And I think, you know, I said it the other day on this show that that word forgiveness, it needs to come in at the right time. We need to look after these three guys. And I know there's been a bit of a push to really go hard with David Warner. I heard a journalist the other day say, oh, you know, he's a tough guy, so you can bruise him, but you'll never break him. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think you can, you know, have the attitude that because someone's a little bit more fragile, you've got to be gentle. These three guys you've got to be gentle on now. The mental side of what comes with this game, we say 90% of cricket is mentally based. Yeah. I know how hard it is to come back and go out onto that field and try and score runs when you're not making runs, or if you've had an issue off the field with your personal life. Let alone what these guys need to do. So, yeah, they get a 12-month ban. One day they've got to come back, try and play club cricket, state cricket, international cricket. How hard mentally is it going to be for them to be able to walk out onto that field in front of 50, 100,000 people and try and do their country proud?
Clarke, you say it very well. There's a couple of things that I'm going to address, and Timmy's here too and wants to ask you another question. But for me, I want to hear from these players. People make mistakes in their lives, and they pay for those mistakes. And I get that it's difficult, but these kids have been idols. These players have been idols to millions of kids around the country. You said it so eloquently the other morning as well. They have to pay the price, but we want to hear that they appreciate the gravity of what they've done wrong, and then I think we can heal. Don't you think?
I completely agree. I think take management, take advice, take anything out of this. These three guys individually need to front the Australian public, the fans, the media, and just be completely open and honest. Tell your story. Don't be scared of how it looks, how it feels, how it affects. Just be completely honest, because then the public can know their reasons, their situation, their remorse, their regret. I couldn't agree more. I think all three, at the right time, need to come out and be completely open and honest. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk about other players and support staff knowing about it. And, you know, I just hope, because I would be extremely disappointed if in time we find out that these three players have taken a maximum hit and other people knew about it. I think that would be really disappointing for Australian cricket, for the fans and for this team.
That's what I think's happened. I really believe that that's what's happened here. I think that I agree with Warnie that the punishment's too tough, but I just cannot comprehend. You played it. I've covered it for a long time. Can't comprehend how others in a managerial, on-the-ground South African coaching sense aren't being punished, have been just abrogated from responsibility of this whole thing.
Yeah, look, Timmy, I think what I'm hearing is the people making the decisions at Cricket Australia are making the decisions based on the investigation, so based on the information that they are receiving, whether it be from investigator, Pat Howard, James Sutherland, or the individual players that are being interviewed. They're only taking that information. I don't think they're taking the what-ifs or the assumption that, you know, you would assume. And that's what I'm doing. You would assume that a bowler that gets the ball in his hand every single ball would notice any sort of variation with a cricket ball, you know. But again, in the same breath, I think you've also got to give Darren Lehmann the benefit of the doubt that he's sitting there at a press conference in his first opportunity to be completely open and honest. You would hope, again, that he wouldn't be saying he knows nothing about it if he does. I don't see that in Darren Lehmann's character. But like I say, the most important thing is, you know, I would hate to find out. It would be extremely disappointing to find out in time that others know about it and is sitting on their hands and not having the courage to come forward.
But should Darren Lehmann go? Isn't this just symptomatic of what's been going on the last few years and the way that cricket's been played in this country?
Well, I don't think that's a decision for me to make. I think what stands out is that if the captain and vice-captain are willing to make these calls without the coach, I think there's certainly something that's not right there in the leadership or in the team. You would hope that the coach and the captain particularly are on the exact same page. You know, the other thing that probably stands out in the last 12 hours from me is that when the opportunity came up for the guys to go to the press conference, Steve Smith and Cameron Bancroft, they had the chance to admit that they used sandpaper. I think there is a difference between sandpaper and a piece of tape because, to me, if you're using sandpaper, you're actually trying to change the state of that ball to get the ball to reverse swing versus the information I received was that they were trying to get that ball changed. So there's still miscommunication here from the leadership, which unfortunately is something that people are going to be talking about over the next few days. But yeah, look, I've said very clearly how disappointed I am. Australian cricket, it's going to take a long, long time to come back from this. But in the same breath, I do really feel for the three players. That footage of Steve Smith walking through the airport is something I've never experienced before in my life, and I worry about the health and safety of these three guys once they get back to Australia. Sorry.
Michael Clarke, take a bow this morning. Very difficult subject matter for you because I know how much you love and adore this game, and I know how much it pains you to see it in the state that it is in and to see those players going through what they're going through now. We appreciate your time very much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Boy, oh boy, it says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very eloquently put.
Yeah, he did sum it up very well indeed.
And he's passionate about it. He contacted us this morning. He said, I want to come on air. He wanted to come on air and say it, and you could see. And he is not the only one. A lot of them. It's a sad day. It really is.
It's going to take people like him and Steve Waugh and the greats to rally now behind this game. And I know that they've done all that. They've already done their bit for Australian cricket. But maybe it's them again who stand up, and like Clarke did this morning, and try and right the ship.
Yeah, and in the meantime, consider the mental health of those people involved,
100%.
without doubt.
100%.